Hey, Chase Craig here with Own Boise at Keller Williams Realty Boise, and today I'm excited to bring to you the market dynamics through the end of November 2022. Now, I know this video is way too long. You will not watch the whole thing, so here's the top 3 things you need to know about what's going on in our market today. So number 1, inventory is actually at the lowest level we've had since May of 2022. Number 2, buyers can negotiate in today's market, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. And then number 3, and you might want to stick around for this one, I'm going to give you a perspective over the last 15 years. We're going to look at kind of a global view of what's going on in the real estate market. So if you want to check that out, watch the rest of this video. All right, so to get started off with this video, guys, we're going to look at the market dynamics for the end of 2022 November. And as you can see, we've been on a pretty steady and predictable decline in inventory all the way through the end of November. And my prediction is you'll actually see us bottom out at the end of January. Possibly, I mean, it's possible we bottom out in the end of December. But I would not be surprised to see us bottom in the end of January. The reason for that is most agents, when they're meeting with a seller and they choose to list their home, for whatever reason, the agents pick December 31st, the end of the year, for that listing to expire. So we see a ton of inventory come off the market, typically right at December 31st or January 1st, 2023. We'll see a lot of inventory pop off. That will hit our bottom. Then we'll see a lot of the smart sellers, the people who are actually looking to take advantage of spring. Spring starts February 1st or January 20th, whatever you want to see. That's when spring starts in real estate. We really want to see those listings get on the market. The sellers that take advantage of the market the most are pretty much ready to go right around the middle of February. February, March, and April, those are the months to sell your property. If I could pick a month and nothing else mattered other than what's the ideal month to list and sell my home, and there's no other variable we want to look at, just like what month seasonally does the best, those are the 3 months. So if you are considering selling right now, or you're thinking of selling in the next 6 months, give your favorite Own Boise agent a call today. Let us talk to you about exactly what the process looks like. Let us help you make the best decision on what you need to do to get that home ready for sale. A lot of times we have sellers that call us and say, hey, Chase, my home's ready for sale. And then we come out there and they did improvements or they did changes to the property that really isn't going to add value. They might have spent tens of thousands of dollars getting it ready, and they're going to get less than that back based on the improvements they did. So we can tell you what you should do that will make you the most amount of money, and we can help you get your property ready. The other thing is we get there and we're like, hey, you did all this stuff, but what about this or that or this? And then it delays the process of getting the home on the market if they want to get the most amount of money. Now, if you just want to list your home and get it sold, we have that option too. We can even bring you a cash buyer and never put your home on the market. Now, is that going to get you the most amount of money? Probably not. And anyone else who says that, they're probably not going to give you at or above market value to buy your home off market. Typically you're gonna do a discount of some sort. So that person who's buying it, either for a rental purposes or maybe they're buying it to sell it, but they're just helping you get out of your situation. Either way, we've got you covered. So we can sell it before it ever hits the market if you want. We can sell it without you doing anything if you want. And then of course we can show you what you need to do to maximize your property's value. The more time we have to do that, the better. So if, as it sits right here, you're probably going to see this right around the middle of December. Give us a call today. We'd love to come out in the next 30 days, show you what's the best approach for your home, and then get you set up so you can actually make the best decisions and get the most amount of money for your property. So that's inventory. Inventory's down. It's going to go down at the end of December for sure. There's no doubt. And then I believe it'll probably go down even one more tick, just like it did last year. You can see from November to December, we saw a pretty decent drop. It went from 531 to 275. That was not all seasonality, in my opinion. I think some of that had to do with demand back then. We had quite a bit of demand. And then we saw another little drop from December to January. Now that was zero inventory, guys. We had like the lowest inventory I had ever seen. So what's the next thing? The next thing we were going to talk about was buyers can negotiate. Now I want to show you this. I'm going to actually zoom in on this a little bit, just so you guys can see the data here. We have the original original price, the sold price, and then the sold to original ratio. Now, this is going to show you negotiation power, basically. This is for this year. This is right now. This is in the last month. You're seeing like, oh, Chase, they got 2% off or 3% off. Now, this is just price, guys. Okay, this doesn't factor in concessions from the seller. And what do I mean by concessions? So the way that these seller concessions work is that those sellers are actually giving monies that the client can use in whatever way they want. They can either use it to pay for some of their closing costs, or we're seeing people buy down their interest rates so they can get a lower monthly payment. That is not included in this data. So when you start to see this data go below 100%, that means buyers are negotiating. So let me show you this same exact time last year. So let's zoom out. This is November of 2022. We're looking now at November of 2021. What do you think was happening back then? Guys, we were getting 103%, 104%, 102%. We were getting well over asking price, which means the sellers, not only were they not giving concessions, right? They were getting more than asking price, but they weren't giving any concessions. But now you fast forward or rewind, I guess, fast forward. You go into 2022, and you're seeing not only are they giving them off the price, they're giving them money off the price, but they're also getting concessions on the buy side. And that's not including the fact that they're starting to lower prices as well. So that's the negotiation piece that I wanted to talk about. Now, on to the last thing, guys, the third thing, which was I'm going to give you some perspective. So we've got this really neat report from that Keller Williams puts together for us, which I really, really, really do enjoy. I'm going to get zoomed in here so you guys can see it pretty well. So this red line is active listings. You can see pending and closed sales. It's way too hard to see. Don't even really focus on that. The active listing says it all, and the pricing says it all. Okay, since 2006, we've seen this price change percentage. You can see 07, 08, 09. We saw a drop in price. We actually bottomed in 2011, 12. Then we started to come back up. So I'll get zoomed in here so you guys can see these numbers in case you want to pause it and look a little closer. But basically from 2006 down to 2011, we were in a declining market. Now we've been increasing from 2012 until 2021, and we've seen massive increases in our valley. But what's happened to inventory along the way? Well, inventory, which we didn't have tracking in 06, it was high. I was selling real estate in 06. It was very high. Some of these inventory levels, there's not really a number there. It's just showing you active listings. I mean, we had thousands and thousands of listings. I mean, I think at one point in time we had over 4,000 listings in the valley. And now we have, or in Ada County. And now we're looking at 1,000 in Ada County. I mean, I think we were at 5,500 at one point. So if you follow this kind of metric where we've been low inventory, this also shows you some key events too. You've got the presidential elections are put in here. You also have COVID that's put in here. But just inventory is drastically lowered. And the other thing you want to think about, we have way more people living here now. Okay, and why is that significant? Well, the more people that are living here, the more people that are typically going to be buying and selling homes, right? The bigger the city is, the more that you're going to have activity. And so the less homes you have, it's the more pressure that gets put on pricing. So just from a historical perspective, guys, let's say you bought in 2007, and of course we don't really have pricing here. And I guess you can kind of see, because that historical perspective giving you an idea of more people here. We just have more deals going on. So if you're looking at the pending sales, let's not get caught up in numbers or anything or trying to measure it, but just look, you have more and more deals as you get more recently because you have more people living here, and you have less and less inventory because we can't build to keep up with the demand. So the piece that I really want you guys to take away is that, when it comes to buying real estate, okay, people ask me this all the time, having sold a lot of homes in this valley, and I get to coach agents all over the country, and I get this question all the time, like, when's it a good time to buy? Well, there's a couple things I want you to know. First of all, timing the market is a fool's errand. Okay, anyone who tells you they know exactly when it's going to go up or down, it maybe if they're a multi-billionaire or they're pulling the strings behind the curtain there. Outside of that, guys, no one has a clue. Okay, we have educated guesses, and I take educated guesses on this channel all the time. So if you've been watching for a while, you've seen those. But the reality is, timing the market is a fool's errand. So the best time to buy. Okay, the best time for you to buy real estate is if you can answer these two questions, okay? Number one, do you have a good enough reason to buy? Okay, like, do you have something compelling you to go buy a new home? That's number one. Number two is, can you afford it? Can you make the payments and can you afford it? And if the answer to both of those is yes, then buy with confidence and don't worry about the value of the property, whether the home's going up or down, okay? Back in 2007, I was a real estate agent. I had been a real estate agent for a little over 2 years. I built a house. I started the build sometime in February. We closed on it in June. And well, guess what? We moved in. We literally bought at the peak, okay? And we paid around $300,000 for that house. You can go fast forward. We were down. We were upside down on that house for a while, but we loved the house and we had to live somewhere, and we weren't trying to sell it to anyone, so it didn't matter if we were upside down. We just stayed put. And about 11 years later, after we owned that home for 11 years, we sold it and we ended up making money. Okay, so we actually made money, not just from the tax savings of writing off our interest, and not just from the principal pay down, because we lived there and we were paying some of the principal down. Whereas when you rent, you can live there for 30 years. You're never going to own anything, right? You're paying someone else's mortgage for them. We had something there. So we got the principal pay down. We also had the equity gain, and we enjoyed living there as well. So if you have a good enough reason and you can afford it, just buy with confidence. Especially if your timeline's long enough. There hasn't been a documented time in real estate where it's lost value over a 10-year period. It doesn't exist. So buy with confidence, guys. If you are looking to own real estate, now's not a bad time, right? There's a lot of good things going in your favor if you are a buyer. People who have their homes on the market today in December or January, they're pretty serious about getting them sold. Okay, and there's not a ton of people who are looking to buy in the winter typically, so your competition's down, and the people who are on the market are serious about selling. You've got some good opportunities to go in there and negotiate a great deal. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, supporting this YouTube channel, supporting Own Boise. If you have questions about real estate, that's why we exist, is to help get your questions answered. And whether you're looking to buy next week, next month, next year, 10 years from now, we are here to help you, and we'd love for you to be clients for life with us. So if you're not yet and you want to be, reach out to us. We'd love to help. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Chase Craig with Own Boise at Keller Williams Realty Boise. Have an amazing holiday season, and I'll see you in January.